Uh, Hello everyone. This course is computer programming, and we have a course website, and you can scan this QR code. Or you can search the DV Lab. Or you can search DV Lab NSYCU. Then you can find this is the website of my lab, and you can click the menu button, the menu icon, and I have two courses this semester, and this course is Thursday, so you need to choose the Thursday, and the Wednesday is another course. For example, so for if you see the web page is Wednesday, then you cannot use this web page because the web page will contain the link to send your assignments. If you choose the wrong web page, then your assignment will not be processed, so you cannot see your scores. So make sure that you choose the correct web course. So make sure you choose the correct website. So after you enter this web page, you will see the Thursday. And I have two emails. If you want to contact me any questions, you can use the first email. And remember to mention your name, student ID, and the class. And the second email is for sending assignments. Later we will have 5 assignments. If you want to ask questions, don't use the second email because I seldom use the second email to receive emails. And this course, we have 6 teaching assistants, and we have TA hours. The TA hours is for if you have problems writing assignments, then you can use the TA hours. And we have 2 time slots. The first slot is Monday from 17 o'clock to 19 o'clock, and the second slot is on Tuesday. And this course requires you to write programs, so you need a tool, and this tool is known as IDE, Integrated Development Environment. And you can either use the online version or use the offline version. The online version, you have many choices. And for the offline version, you can install software in your computer. Here I suggest to use code blocks, and you can download this. Download the install file from this website, and you need to choose. And you need to choose the one with a compiler. So I suggest use this one. So this binary file contains the compiler. Later, I will explain what is a compiler. And after you finish installing this software, you can start to create a CPP file. Then you can follow the following steps to create a CPP file. And later, I will demonstrate how to write a simple C++ program. Or your operation system is Mac, then you can consider use the Xcode. Next is our grading policy for this course. We have two exams. The midterm exam accounts for 25% of the total semester grades. The final exam it also accounts for 25% of the total grade. And we also have assignments accounts for 40%. And there will be 5 homework assignments in total. So each assignment accounts for 8% of the total grade. Finally is the classroom quiz. The classroom quiz accounts for 10% of the total grade. And some students who have already studied programming may be used to hands-on lab sessions during class. But this course is not taught through hands-on lab exercises because it tends to be more time-consuming. So this course is lecture-based. And for practice, you are expected to complete assignments on your own to practice writing code. So we have assignments. And also, this course is offered by the Department of Electrical Engineering. So I choose the programming language C++. And C++ is relatively complex and requires an understanding of low-level computer concepts such as memory allocation. So if you are a student from the College of Social Sciences or the College of Liberal Arts, this background knowledge may pose some learning challenges. If you have concerns, it is recommended to consider taking courses in other high-level programming languages such as Python, which are easier to get started with. Let's see about the rules for assignments. The next week I will announce assignment 1. So the next week you will see a link for sending assignments. And for sending assignments, you need to follow some rules. Later I will explain. You need to use some specific email subjects because I write a program to fetch all the assignments. So if you do not follow this rule, my program will not be able to fetch your assignments. So you need to follow this rule. And the assignments are designed for beginners, so you should be able to finish the assignments independently. If you have problems, you can use the TA hours. The teaching assistants will guide you to how to finish the assignments. And in previous years, plagiarism has been found. And plagiarism is strictly prohibited. If plagiarism occurs, both the person who plagiarized and the person who and the person whose work was copied will receive a score of 0. And I will check plagiarism by programs. And you are allowed to have a discussion with your classmates. But when writing the code, you must do it independently. So when you writing the assignments, no one should assist you. You must write the code independently. You can not to see other source codes when you do the home assignments. So this is very important. So if you obey this, then this will be considered plagiarism. And all the grades, including quiz, assignments, and the exam, will be announced on this website. And once the grades are announced, if you have any problems, you can contact me within 2 weeks. And the next week I will the next week I will announce assignment 1, and the deadline is 3 weeks later. So the deadline is October 10. So the deadline for the first assignment is October 10. And it is recommended that you send your assignments as early as possible, because I will update the accuracy of your assignments every week. And if you find the accuracy is not 100%, then you will have a chance to fix the mistakes. Before the deadline, you will have the chance to fix the mistakes. So you can send your assignments as early as possible. And late assignments will not be accepted. So you need to pay attention to the deadline of the assignments. And we have a textbook. The textbook is Absolute C++. The version is the 6th edition. You can use older edition. For example, you can use the 5th edition or 4th edition. Here is the table of contents. If the contents are similar, you can use the older versions. This course will cover from chapter 1 up to chapter 10. we will cover from chapter 1 up to chapter 10. And we also cover the standard template library, chapter 19. And it is not mandatory to buy the textbook, because I will upload all the slides and the assignments on the website. So it is not mandatory to buy the textbook. But if you want detailed descriptions about concepts of programming, of computer programming, then the textbook might be useful, because the textbook contains many exercises and many descriptions. So if you need these materials, then you can consider buying a textbook. And at the bottom of the page is the syllabus. It's the schedule for this course. And you see that here is the date for the midterm exam. And this is the date for the final exam. And I will upload the slides of each week in this table. And the slides for this week is this PDF. I haven't explained about the classroom quiz. So here, for the classroom quiz, we will use the app. We will use the Ruvio app. So you need to use your mobile phone. You need to install this one, Ruvio. You can find this in your app store. And this app has many versions. You can only choose this version. If you choose the wrong version, you will not be able to see the course contents. Then I will open. I will open some questions about your programming background, and you can try to log in this Ruvio. So the account is your student ID, and followed by mail.nsysu.ndu.tw. This is not the school email address. If you already enroll this class, I already registered your student ID into Ruvio. And if you can log in Ruvio, then you will be able to see the course title. Here is the course title, semester 113, computer programming, Thursday. If you cannot log in the Ruvio, you can try to create a new account. So you can, if you cannot log in to the Ruvio, you can create a new account. Then you need to manually you need to manually add the course code Here is the course code. The account has a default password, and I suggest you should modify this default password because in previous years some students have mistakenly used others account to log in. So this is this can cause some problems. So I suggest you to modify the default password and make sure that you use the correct student ID to log in the Ruvio. And you can try to log in the Rubio, and let's see the results of the questions. The first question is about your background about programming languages, and let's see. About 18% students have no experiences in computer programming, and this is fine because this course is designed for beginners. So even if you have no programming experience, it is okay. And if you already have experience, this course can enhance your understanding about some programming concepts. The second question is your programming environment. And I see a lot of use the dev C++. In fact, any IDE can be used for this course. I suggest the code blocks over dev C++ because dev C++ is no longer maintained, so it is a bit outdated. The third question is about the motivation for this course. And this course is compulsory for the electrical engineering department. Also, many choose this option. And some choose due to interest. Later, I will explain the benefits of computer programming. And now, let's proceed to the slides of the course introduction. So first, what is a programming language? You already know what a language is. Language is the tool we use to communicate with others. So a programming language is what we use to communicate with machines. So if you can use programming language, then you can ask machines to do the tasks. And just as we have many languages such as English, Chinese, Spanish, French. We also have a lot of computer. We also have a lot of computer programming languages, and such as Java, C, Python. And for this course, our target language is C++. As I said, C++ is relatively complex and requires an understanding of low-level concepts. Because you need to know the memory allocation of variables. So C++ is more challenging than other programming languages such as Python. The main benefit of programming is programming enables machines to accomplish tasks for us. And in fact, computer programming is used in every field, including software development. So such as your notebook or your personal computer, you will use operation systems. You will use programs, softwares. These are all written by computer programming languages. Or the app you use in a mobile phone is also written by programming languages. And in many academic fields, such as data science or scientific research, you will need to write programs to simulate experiments like in physics, biology, and chemistry. If you want to perform simulation, you need to write programs. And in in the field of artificial intelligence, you also need to write programs to, for example, to training a neural network, or to perform some inference. This is very common in natural language processing and computer vision. And computer programming also used in financial analysis, gaming, and entertainment. So computer programming are used almost in every field. And recently we know ChatGPT is very famous. ChatGPT is a large language model, and it can perform a variety of natural language processing tasks, such as translate, generate texts. So one question is, will ChatGPT replace programmers? In fact, tools like ChatGPT is to assist humans to be more efficient. So the position of ChatGPT is not to replace humans, but is to assist humans to efficiently writing programs. Next, I will introduce the 3 virtues of a programmer. The 3 virtues are laziness, impatience, and hubris. These 3 virtues are weird because it looks like disadvantages. But these 3 attributes are the virtues for a programmer. Here I have a link to explain why the reason for this quote. If a programmer is lazy, then he want to save his time. He want to save efforts. So he don't want to manually do the tasks. So a programmer will write programs to be labor saving, or to save his energy. So laziness is a virtue for a programmer. The second is impatience. So a programmer always wants his program to be very time efficient. You don't want to wait the program to see the outputs. So a programmer is impatient. He wants his program to be very efficient. The program can be finishes within a few seconds. You don't need to wait many minutes. So impatience is the second virtue for a programmer. The third virtue is hubris. Hubris means excessive pride, or too proud. This is because if you are a programmer, you don't want other people to say any bad things about your code. So a hubris programmer will try to make their code look professional, not at the level of a beginner. So they will take pride in writing clean, efficient, and maintainable code. And this will drive them to continuously refine their skills, learning new techniques, and stay updated with the latest advancement. Hubris is the third virtue of a programmer. And we have many programming languages. And this slide shows the ranking of these programming languages. The ranking is according to its usage. For example, the number of percentage of code on the GitHub. So this ranking is about its popularity. Currently, Python is the most popular programming language because it is easy to learn, and it is easy to write programs. So now Python is the most popular programming language, and C++ and C ranks in the third and fourth. And later I will have a comparison between Python and C++, and you can see the differences between the two languages, and why we need and why this course choose C++. And this is the trend for each programming language, and you can have a look if you are interested. You can close this link. We have many programming languages, and each programming language has its focus. For example, JavaScript is used for web development. So if you want to develop web page, then you might use JavaScript or PHP. And SQL is for database. So if you want to do some tasks related to database, you might use SQL. While C and C++ or Python are very general programming languages. They can be used everywhere. And here is the evolution of programming languages. C is created in 1972. C++ is created in 1980. In fact, so C++ are already very old, about 44 years old. And Python is about 11 years after C++. And we say Python is a higher level programming language than C++. And here, high level programming language means strong abstraction. And abstraction means to hide the details of the computer. For example, if you use the Python, you don't need to understand about memory allocation. However, if you use C++, you need to understand memory allocation. So in order to use C++, you need to know more details about the computer. So C++ is less user-friendly because you need to know more details. And here, the higher level or lower level is relative. C++ is a higher level than the assembly programming language. So here the high level or low level is relative. When you compare two computer programming languages, so here I mentioned the concept of abstraction. Here, abstraction means to eliminate the irrelevant and the amplification of the essential. So this is the definition of abstraction. The next slide shows an example of abstraction. Here, Picasso wants draw a sketch to draw a sketch of a bull. Initially, he draws a lot of details, and then finally he wants to remove the unnecessary parts. He wants to keep only the essential lines. So you can see this is a sequence of refining his sketches, and finally only the essential parts are preserved. So here the concept of abstraction is to amplify essential and eliminate the irrelevant. And when we write programs, we often use this concept to refine our programs. Here is a comic about programmer and non-programmers. For non-programmers, it's like a bird. He want to drink water. If you do not know how to program, you need to manually do many works. You pick up many stones so that to increase the water level, and finally he can drink water. But if you are a programmer, it since becomes more easy. You can use a straw to drink water. And if you are a Python programmer, it's easier. You can sit on a chair and you can use a straw to drink the water. So if you can do programming, this can save a lot of manual works. So I think time is up, so let's take a break for 10 minutes. This course is about C++, and C++ is a programming language that evolves with time. And actually, C++ has a committee. This committee will determine when to add some features to this programming language. So in 1998, the C++ committee, they have a meeting and they define the major syntax of this programming language. And later in 2011, the C++ committee also made some major improvements of the C++ programming language. And so this course will cover the features of 1998 and 2011. And some more modern features defined in 2014 or later will not be covered because these features are more advanced, such as parallelism or concurrency or networking. These are more advanced features and will not be covered in this course. So this course will only cover the major features of C++ 1998 and C++ 2011. And here I use an example to compare C++ and Python. So suppose our goal is to create an array. An array is a container. This container contains many elements. So for Python, if you want to perform array, if you want to create an array, then you can use this line. So on the right-hand side, you use a bracket with many numbers. So you create a container of with 4 numbers. Then you assign this container to a variable, ARR. So in Python, you can use one line to create an array. But in C++, it's more difficult if you want to create an array. In C++, you can use method 1. Method 1 can create an array. This is similar to Python. You use a pair of braces and with 4 elements. Then you assign this container to a variable ARR. But method 1 is very restrictive because method 1 you cannot change the length of this array. So in C++, if you use method 1, the length of this array is always 4. You cannot increase or decrease the length of this array. But in Python is more flexible. You can increase, you can add element or remove some element. So the Python array is dynamic. And in C++, this array is static, which means you cannot move or add any elements to this array. This is method 1. If you want to add elements, you need to use method 2 or method 3. For method 2, you need to allocate memory space to a pointer. Then you can to create an array using pointers. So method 2 requires you to do memory allocation. And method 3 use a library called vector. This is defined in STL, Standard Template Library. And if you use this library, you don't need to manually you don't need to manually locate memory. You can use the function provided by this library. But if you use method 2 or method 3, you see that this is more complex. This is more complex because method 2 requires you to understand how to allocate memory. And the method 3 requires you to use some library, and you need to understand how to use this library. So C++ is more complex than Python. You need to know more details to do the same task. So here is a comparison of C++ and Python. And the C++ also has its own disadvantage. C++ is more efficient, requires less memory and less CPU time. So for example, if you want to write a an engine for program for gaming. So if suppose you want to write a game, you need an engine, and the engine must be very efficient because you want the user do not feel any delay when they play the game. So the engine must be very efficient. Then the engine is usually written by the C++ programming language, not Python. Python is used for user interface. When you want to, for example, define the strategy for the game, then you might use some higher level language such as Python to speed up the development time. And this course will teach you how to write C++. Because this course is in the Department of Electrical Engineering, and we need to deal with many low-level architectures. So we need to know the concepts of memory allocation. Here, these slides discuss C versus C++, and some of you already learned the C programming language, and C++ includes all the features of C, and also add more features to support object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming is known as OOP, and if you want to do OOP in C, you need to write many codes. While if you want to do OOP in C++, C++ provides many features to support OOP, so it is easier in C++ to do OOP. And the next slide is about clean code, the concept of clean code. This is a quote from a professional programmer, Martin Fowler. He says that any fool can write code that a computer can understand. Because write programs is easy. If your program can be compiled, then computer understand your code. But this does not mean humans can understand your code. So the clean code is to stress your code should be understood by other programmers. I will use one example to demonstrate this. Suppose you want to declare a variable x, and you will usually write program like this. So for example, you want to create a variable, and you want to assign some initial value to this variable. So this code is not clean because you do not understand the intention of this variable. You don't know the purpose of this variable. So if you want to make your program readable, you should use a more meaningful variable name. For example, you should use this is more the code is more clean because it is more readable. now the variable name is number students. So you know this variable this variable denotes the number of students. You know its purpose. However, if you choose a variable name like x, you don't know the purpose of this variable. And the concept of clean code stresses the readability of the programs. Because if you are a professional programmer, you need to maintain your code. If your code is not clean, it is hard to maintain. If your code is hard to maintain, if some error occurs, it will be very difficult to find the problem. Where the problem is, it might take a week or a month to find an error in some unreadable code. But if your code is clean, it is very easy to find any mistakes in the source code. So clean code is very important for a programmer. And in our course, I will teach you some principles about how to write clean code. You should organize your code. You will write functions to organize your code rather than write many lines in a single main function. Here are two books for more advanced study. If you already know computer programming and you want to improve your level, you can consider the two books. But this is more advanced, so you can you can skip the two books if you are a beginner. And later, next I will next I will demonstrate how to write a C++ program. Now suppose you already installed the IDE. So in my computer, I already installed code blocks. Then after you open code blocks, you can create a CPP file. So here you click file and new. Then you choose file. And here we have many types. You need to choose the C++ source code. Then you need to choose C++. If you choose C, you cannot use C++ features, such as IO string. So if you want to use C++ features, here you need to choose C++. Then you just input the file path. You can choose any folder and any file name. And I already create one file, hello world. So here I already create a CPP file, and the file name is hello world. You can choose any name. So you can see this folder. Inside this folder, we have the CPP file. So once you save this file, you will see the folder. The folder will have a file, CPP file. And this file is actually a text file. You can open it with any text editor. For example, I can open it with 记事本, any text editor. But if you open it with text editor, you won't see any colors because it does not support syntax highlighting. So CPP is a text file. Then we can try to compile. Here is icon build. If you type build, if you click build, you will see some messages at the bottom. So this is the messages about compiler of the compiler. And if you succeed, you will see some files. You will see exe file. This is the executable file. And then you can, if you want to run this program, this is the machine code of your program. And if you want to execute this machine code, you can click here. Here is the run icon. And if you click the run icon, it will run the exe file. So this exe file will output hello world, because here I output a string hello world. You can modify this string. And if you modify this string, you need to recompile. You need to rebuild. You need to rebuild and run the machine code. So now you see the program output becomes hello world 1, 2, 3. And if you want to combine the two steps, here is one icon, build and run. You can just click this icon to perform compile and run your program. So here is the process of the compilation process. A compiler will transform the CPP file into machine code. So the purpose of a compiler is to transform the CPP file into executable file. So this is the build icon. When you click build, this icon will trigger the compiler to compile your CPP file into a executable file. You can delete the executable file if you click the compile the build icon. Then the compiler will generate the machine code. And here is the detailed process of a compiler. The compiler will do some pre-process. Pre-process means, for example, he will do some text substitution to substitute some text. And then the compiler will compile your code into assembly. Assembly means some low-level programming code. So the source code will be transformed into assembly code, some low-level code, and then the compiler will use a linker to link some library with your code. Because when we write program, we will use some library. For example, here I use IOString. IOStream is a library, and this library is already compiled, so I don't need to compile it again. And when you compile this file, the linker will link this library to your code to create the final executable code. So this slide shows the details, the steps for a compiler. And when we mention IDE, IDE means integrated development environment. And in fact, IDE integrates two tools. The first tool is text editor. The second tool is the compiler. The purpose of text editor is to edit the text. So you can use any text edit to edit your program, your source code. And the compiler is a tool to transform the source file into machine code. And IDE is a combination of the two tools. The IDE will facilitate you to quickly write programs. If you do not use IDE, you need to manually download some text editor and some compiler, and then you need to manually combine the two tools. So this will be very challenging for a beginner. So it is easier to use some IDE, for example, CodeBlocks or Visual Studio. So here I use the CodeBlocks. You see that this is the interface of the text editor. So here is the text editor. I use this text editor to edit the program. And the compiler is installed somewhere in the computer, so you don't see the compiler. So the compiler is a couple. So when you install CodeBlocks, you need to select MINGW. And MINGW is the compiler. Is the compiler used in CodeBlocks. And next, let's talk about compile time and the runtime. If you have the source file, you can use a compiler to compile this source file into executable code, and this period is known as compile time. And once you have the executable, you can run this executable code, and this period is known as runtime. So if any error occurs during the compile time, this type of error is known as compile time error. On the other hand, if some error occurs during the runtime, then this type of error is called a runtime error. So I will show some examples. Now suppose I forget to type the semicolon. Then I try to compile this file. So you will see the error message. So the error message is the compiler expects some semicolon after return. So this is an error, and this error occurs during the compile time. So this is a compile time error. So this type of error is compile time error. And the next, I will show another type of error. Now suppose we want to perform some division. So for example, x equals 10, y equals 2. And I want to show the result of this division. I want to show the result x divided by y. And here, end L means end of line. It will output a line break in the screen. So let's see the outputs. So we see here, after hello world, the program outputs 5, because 10 divided by 2 is 5. So the program currently is, the program has no problem currently. Now suppose if you change y to 0, then here this division will become division by 0. And let's run again. And in this case, you do not see the output of the program here. You do not see the outputs of the program. And you also notice that this program returns some negative or some unknown number. So this is runtime error, because the program does not finishes correctly. So if the program does not finishes correctly, the program will return some code, some negative or some code other than 0. Let's see again. If your program can finish correctly, you see that this machine code returns 0. Here returns 0 is due to this line. So if your program can reach this line, then this line will return 0. So and this means your program can finish correctly. So usually if your program can return 0, then this means your program do not have any runtime error. Here, if you I change y to 0, so here I change y to 0, and you notice that the program does not return 0, because the program cannot reach this line. So, and in this case, if runtime error occurs, the program returns some unknown number other than 0. So if you see your program do not return 0, then this means some runtime error occurs in your program. So it is important to pay attention to these messages. And we see that although runtime error occurs in this program, but this program has no errors, has no warnings during compile time. You see that the syntax of this program is okay. No compile time error, no warnings. So the syntax of this program is correct. So when you compile this file, the compiler shows no errors and no warnings. And you can only observe the error during runtime. So runtime error is difficult to be catched. So here we have two types of errors: compile time errors and the runtime errors. And which type of error you think is more dangerous? Compile time error or runtime error? If you think compile time error is more dangerous, please raise your hand. Runtime error is more dangerous. Please raise your hand. Very good. And yes, runtime error is more dangerous because you cannot detect this error during compile time, and you can only observe this error during runtime. And this is dangerous because if the customer use this program written by you, and the program might crash, and then the customer will complain to you. So why the program is not reliable? So runtime error is difficult to be observed. Next, I will go to and we already finished the course introduction. And next, I will introduce some basics of C++. And let's see the slides of this PDF file. Although the course A drop period isn't over yet, but the formal classes begin this week. Because we only have 16 weeks. Here is the outline. And in this chapter, I will introduce 3 parts. The first part is the introduction to some common terminologies in computer programming, not restricted to C++. And the second part is about some terminology, variables, expression, and statements. And the third part is about console input-output. And this slide shows the process from problems to solutions. When you have a problem, you want to find a solution to this problem. And how can you achieve this? Then first, you need to have an idea. About how to solve this problem. Then you need to do some mental exercise to write down your solution to organize your solution. Then your solution will become an algorithm. Then you need to convert the algorithm into a program. So this is the goal of this course. This course will teach you how to convert some algorithm into programs. And once we have programs, you can use a compiler to compile this program into machine code. So this course, computer programming, will teach you how to convert algorithm into programs. And if your problem is very complex, you might need to use some more advanced algorithms. And in that case, you might need to take other course. In our school, we have many courses. Some courses are about algorithms. And these courses will teach you more advanced algorithms to solve difficult problems. For example, use dynamic programming or use greedy approach. And here is a simple C++ program. So I will quickly illustrate this program. So I will remove this line because this requires more explanation. So here I will use example to illustrate the first C++ program. So the first line is to include a library. This is because we want to use cout. Cout will output some message in the screen. So and the cout is defined in the IOString library. So in order to use cout, we need to include this library. If you do not include this library, then you will see some error messages. Cout was not declared in this scope. So if you use cout and you do not include this library, this will lead to syntax error. Here I use 2 slash to comment out this line. So this is comment. This means comment. However, if you don't use cout, then you don't need to include this library. So for example, I do not use cout. You see that this program has no errors and no warnings. The second line is about namespace. It is a bit advanced for beginners. If you do not use this line, you will see some error messages. Sorry. So if you do not use this line, we see the error message is cout was not declared in this scope. So you might wonder, cout is already in IOString. Why the compiler complains about cout was not declared. Is any does anyone know why the compiler shows this message? Does anyone know how to fix this? Oh, okay. So you mean prefix some std in this variable, before this variable. So you mean like this. Double column, right? Okay, and then these students suggest we modify the code like this, and let's compile again. Oh, sorry. So his solution is correct. After we modify the code, the compiler has no errors. We succeed. So this line means if you use this line, you can omit this prefix. If you use this line, you can omit the std prefix. And if you do not use this line, you need to prefix every variable with std, and this is very this requires you type many characters. So usually we will use this line using namespace, because this can save you a lot of typing. You don't need to type many characters. So we usually use this line in using namespace std. And this line is about the definition of the main function. Later, we will explain how to define your own function in this chapter. In this chapter, I will show how to define our own function. And in every C++ program, we have the main function. When you call the executable code, the executable code will execute this main function. So here is the main function, and the integer is the returned data type of this function, and the function usually followed by a pair of parentheses, and the next followed by a pair of braces, and inside the braces are the statements we want to execute. And in this main function, we only have two statements. The first statement is to print the hello world string in the output console, and the second statement is to return 0. So after you finish this main function will return 0 to its caller. So when you run this machine code, this machine code will execute this main function, and this main function first output the hello world in the console. This black window is known as console. And after this main function finishes, then it returns 0. So you will see here process returned 0. And this means your program finishes correctly. Next, I will explain some terminologies about programming. We usually, you will see some terminology that like syntax or semantics. And the syntax is like the grammar of a language. So syntax is the rules for writing this, for writing the language. You must follow the rule. If you do not follow the rule, then the compiler will show some error messages. So the compiler is a tool to detect syntax errors. And if the syntax is okay, then the compiler can compile your code into machine code. The second terminology is about semantics. Semantic means the intention of your code, the purpose of your code. And the compiler cannot detect your intention. So the compiler cannot know what you want to do. So compiler can do nothing about the semantics. Here I use one example. Suppose you forget to type semicolon, then so this is syntax error, and the compiler show error message in line 6. The compiler expects semicolon before this return keyword, because compiler expects semicolon should appear here. This is syntax error. The next one is semantic error. I will show what is a semantic error. Now suppose I want to compute 5 divided by 2. So 5 divided by 2, the answer is 2.5, right? 2.5, right? So let's see the result. You see that the result is not 2.5. The result is 2. So the program output is different from our intention. We expect the result is 2.5, but the program outputs 2. And this is known as semantic gap. So this can be called semantic error, because the program outputs is different from what you think. And this is because you do not understand what you write. You do not understand this expression. If you understand this expression, you should know its output. So if you want to show 2.5, you need to modify this expression. You should use a floating point. So in this case, I change the numerator to a floating point. You see that the output is 2.5. So the semantic gap comes from you do not understand what you write. You do not understand the expression. So this is the semantics. So I think time's up. Let's take a break for 10 minutes. Hello. Let's continue our class. In this slide, we discuss the difference between syntax and semantics. And syntax means the rules for writing the language. So the compiler can help us to detect syntax errors, while the semantics means our intention, and the compiler cannot detect our intention. So and the semantic gap or semantic errors occurs usually because we don't understand what we write. So if you don't understand what you write, you cannot control the output of your program. So if you do not fully understand what this expression outputs, you cannot control the outputs of your program. So in this course, so it is important to understand each operation or each expression so that you can avoid semantic gap. You can fully control the program outputs, and this is very important when you do your assignments. Because if you do not understand what you write, you cannot control the outputs of your program. So you cannot finish the assignments. Next are some terminologies about in programming language. The first is expression. Expression means any operation that can generate a value. For example, you perform mathematical operations, addition or multiplication, subtraction. This operation can generate a value. So this is expression. Or you perform some function call. This function will return a floating point, and you perform addition, and this will generate a floating point. So this also generates a value. So this is also an expression. And the comparison also generates some value. This will generate true or false. So if A is greater than B, then this expression generates true, and true is some value. So the comparison is also an expression. And this is assignment. This is not comparison. This is assignment. We assign variable B to variable A, and this will also generate some value. The value is the value stored in B. So this assignment also is an expression. Next, we introduced statement. Statement is fragments of a program. So statements is usually like this. So this is called a single line statement. This usually terminates by a semicolon. So this is a single line statement. And in this statement, we declare a variable x, and its data type is integer. So in this single line statement, we declare a variable. The next one is also a single line statement, and we perform some addition and multiplication, and after we finish this expression will generate a value. Then we assign this value to a variable d. So in this single assignment, we perform mathematical operations and also assignment in this single statement. The next one is also a single line statement. We perform a function call. We call the power function to perform x squared and return the result to another variable y. So in this single line statement, we perform we call a function and we assign the return value to another variable. We also have a different type of statements. The statement is called compound statements. It is like this. Compound. So in Chinese is this. So this is compound statements. Compound statements is like this one. This is the if keyword. Later we will introduce how to use how to use the if keyword. And for this keyword, usually followed by a pair of braces. And inside this pair of braces, we can put many statements. You can put many single line statements into this inside the braces, and this is known as compound statements. So inside a pair of braces is the compound statements. And similarly, later we will introduce how to write the for loop, and the for loop usually followed by a pair of braces, and this is also a compound statements. Next, I will introduce how to declare variables. If you want to use a variable, you must declare it. This is the rule in C++. So now suppose you want to perform suppose you want to perform x divided by y, and if you compile this, you will see error message. X was not declared, y was not declared, because before you use the variable, you need to declare it. So you need to perform declaration. In C++, if you want to declare a variable, you put data type. Suppose you want to use integer here. Int is the data type, integer data type. So first you type the data type, then followed by the variable name. And if you want to declare multiple variable in one line, you can use the comma. So here, this line declares variables x and y, and their data types is integer. So now we can compile this file. You see the compiler shows no errors. So in C++, if you want to use variables, you need to declare variables. And a variable means a memory location. You can store some value in this memory location, and you can modify the value in this memory location. And in C++, we have many data types. Later, I will show some common built-in data types, including integers, floating point numbers, and characters, Boolean data types. So these are built-in data types. You can use these built-in data types to declare variables. And let's talk about the variable name. There are some rules about the variable name. Variable name also called identifier. So the variable name is also called an identifier because we all have ID. ID means your identity. So the identity of a variable is its name. So its name is also called an identifier. Here are some rules. You can only use letters, digits, and the underscore symbol. You can only use these three types of characters to be the variable name. The underscore symbol is this one. This one is the underscore symbol. So here are all legal variable names. So here are the examples of legal identifiers. And you can try to write a program to test which variable names are legal. For example, I type x1. This is legal. You can try to compile this program, and no errors. So the syntax is correct. However, if you change the sequence, for example, if you move x after the digits, this is not legal because here errors we show we see the compiler error message. Because we have some additional rule. The identifier must begin with a letter or the underscore symbol. So the variable name cannot begin with digits. So the variable name cannot begin with digits because later this will confuse with the floating constants. So here we have this rule. So here 3x is illegal because it begins with digits. the variable name begins with underscore is okay. So you can use underscore y. This is the syntax is correct. Let's see more example. What is my x, y? So x underscore y. This is also legal. But you cannot use x dot y. You cannot use other symbols. So if you use this one, then the compiler shows some message, because the dot symbol has special meaning in the C++ programming language. So you cannot use this symbol in the variable name. So you can also not use plus, because plus has another meaning. Plus means addition. So you cannot use these symbols in the variable name. And you can and in C++, the variable name are case sensitive. Case sensitive means uppercase and lowercase are different. So the following three variables are different instances. You can try to you can try to declare two variables. Both are rate. And we see that the syntax is okay. The syntax is okay. But you are not allowed to declare a variable twice in the same scope. So if you do this, the compiler will show the declaration of the variable rate. You cannot declare a variable twice inside the same scope. But if in different scope, it is okay. You can declare the same name in different scope. So this is okay. Because the scope outside this main function and the scope inside this main function, the two are different scopes. In different scopes, you can use the same variable name. But inside the same scope, you can only have one variable name. And we usually using the following styles to be the variable name. We usually combine 2 words or 3 words, and we see that the second word, the first character of the second word is in uppercase, and so that you can distinguish the 2 words. And we usually use this convention, because this convention can improve the readability of your program. Here are some keywords in C++. Keywords means reserved words, and you cannot use keywords as variable names. Here are some keywords in C++. So we already see some words like return. Return is a keyword. So here we use return. Return is a keyword. So you cannot declare a variable so you cannot have the variable name as return, because return is a keyword. So you see that the compiler is confused because return is a keyword. So and we also have predefined words. Predefined words are different from keywords. Predefined words are the variables such as cin and cout, which are already defined in some library. And actually, you can redefine these words. So you can redefine cin. You can redefine cin because cin is not a keyword. But if you redefine cin, then you cannot use cin to read user inputs. So we will not suggest you use the predefined words as variable names. Although you can do it, but this is not recommended because this will confuse people reading your program. We usually assume cin is for reading user input and cout is for output some message. If you redefine these words, this will cause some confusion. Next, I will introduce built-in data types in C++. And you can use these data types to declare variables. And besides built-in data types, we also have libraries. Some libraries also define built-in. Some libraries also define data types. For example, later we will introduce vectors. A vector is a library, and this library defines many data types. For example, vector defines the vector data type. And we will also cover how to define our own data type. So if you learn how to use class or structure, you can define your own data type. And for now, we need to understand the built-in data type. Here are the 4 categories of built-in data types. The first category is integer. And we have three types: short, int, and long. This all represents integers, but with different memory size. Short requires less memory, while long requires more memory. We also have another keyword unsigned. Just for the integer data type, we also has this additional keyword unsigned. Unsigned means this number has no sign. Sign means negative or positive. So unsigned means only 0 or positive. So unsigned means means this variable can save non-negative values. So when you add unsigned before short, this data type can only store non-negative values. Here I show you some examples. So here I declare variable x, and I assigned -10 as the initial value. So when I print x, the screen should output -10. So we see that the CL prints the value of x, and the x is -10. Now you can try another example if you prefix unsigned. Now we unsigned, so let's change it to 10. So the output is correct, because x is unsigned integer, and we store 10 in this memory location. So when we print the value of x, x is 10. So this is correct. However, if you change the value to -10, so you see the output. The output is not -10. The output is some large number, because this is known as overflow. You store some negative number in unsigned integer. This will cause overflow. So in this case, the behavior of x, you cannot expect the behavior of x. So it is important that you choose the correct data type. If you want to deal with negative number, you cannot use unsigned. And for floating point number, we have no unsigned, because floating point is always signed. A floating point is always has positive and negative signs. So for floating point numbers, we do not use unsigned. And we also has the Boolean data type. You can declare Boolean variables. So you use the keyword bool, and its value is either true or false. So here, true is also a keyword. So we see that we assign true to the Boolean variable x, and if we print its value, its value is 1, because in C++, true is equal to the integer 1. So if you print x, x is 1. And you can assign false to a Boolean variable. False is also a keyword. So you see the syntax highlight, the keyword will have a different color. So if you change this, so this is not a keyword, so you notice that the color is black. But if this is a keyword, then the color becomes dark blue. And if you print the value of x, then the value is 0, because in C++, the integer value of false is 0. Next, I will introduce I will compare the three integer types. I will compare int, long, and long. The integer data type always has 4 bytes in different operation systems, but the long data type has different memory size on different operation systems. For example, on 32-bit operation systems, the long only has 4 bytes. But on Unix 64-bit system, the long data type has 8 bytes. This can cause some problem, cause the portability problem. Because if you develop your program under the Unix 64-bit system, then you assume you use the long data type, and the long data type can deal with 8 bytes. However, if you copy your source code to a 32-bit system, the long data type can only deal with 4 bytes. So the size range will smaller, and this will cause some portability problems. And in order to fix this problem, the C++ committee in 2011 proposed new data types. These data types specify precise integer, specify precise memory space. For example, int 8 underscore t. Its memory size is always 1 byte, regardless of different operation systems. So this data type always has 1 byte, because we know 1 byte is 8 bits. And int 32 underscore t is always has 4 bytes, because 1 byte has 8 bits, and 8 times 4 is 32. So int 32 means 32 bits. And you also pay attention to the difference between the first two. The second one has a U in the beginning, and the U means unsigned. So unsigned means this data type can only deal with non-negative numbers. And the ordinary integer can deal with negative and the positive numbers. And we also know that if the memory size is smaller, then the size range will be small. So the size range of 1 byte is, for example, is smaller than the size range of 4 bytes. So you need to, according to your task, you can choose the data type you want to use. Now suppose I want so now suppose I want to deal with numbers within this range from negative 128 to 127, and then you can use the unsigned int 8. You can use this data type. So if you want to see number, you need to perform type casting, because this data type is usually treated as characters, so you will see characters. If you want to see the numerical value, you need to cast its data type to integer. So its value is 123. However, if you assign some number outside its range, for example, if we assign 200, you see that 200 is outside the range of this data type, because if you look at this table, its range is between this interval, and the 200 is outside this range. So let's see what happens if the number is outside this range. Then you try to compile this program. First, we see the compiler message. There are no errors, no warnings. This means the syntax are correct. Oh, sorry, I changed to integer 8. So you see that we store 200 in this variable x, but when we print its value is not 200. Its value is negative 56. So if the value is outside the range of this data type, then there will be some unexpected behavior. So it is important to know the size range of the data type you used. So if you change it to some number inside the legal range, then the output will be correct. So I compile again. So now 20 is inside its size range. So 20 is inside the legal size range. So you see that the cout prints 20. So here, when you choose one data type, it is important that you know the data type, the size range of this data type. You must ensure the value saved in this variable is within this size range. Of course, you can always use some large memory data type. For example, you can always use int 64, then you don't need to worry about the size range. But this can waste memory, because in some applications, if you always use the data type consumes large memory, then your program is not memory efficient. So although you can do it, but in some real applications, you only have limited memories. So you need to choose your data type carefully. Next, let's talk about how to compute this size range. Why the size range of unsigned integer 8 is from 0 to 255. And in fact, this is very easy if you understand if you understand binary number, you will know why the size range of 8 bits data type is from 0 to 205. Let's see. You can go to the syllabus, and here I have a reference. I have a reference web page, and you can go to the C++ basics, and here we have I have a link, binary and decimal, and this web page introduce the difference between binary and decimal number systems. In our daily lives, we use decimal. So in our daily life, when we say 123, this means we have 2 100 and one and two. When we say 123, this means 2 times 100 plus means 1 times 100 and 2 times 10 plus 3 times 1. So in decimal number system, its base is 10. So this is the decimal number system. And we in our daily life, we use this decimal number system. But if you want to communicate with computers, computers often use binary number system. So binary is like this. Its digit is only 0 or 1. So in binary number system, the digit is either 0 or either 1 or 1. And how can you represent a decimal number like a 34? How can you represent a decimal number 34 in binary number system? And in fact, it's easy. First, you need to compute. You need to know the you need to compute 2 raised to 0. 2 raised to 0 is 1. 2 raised to 1 is 2, and 2 raised to 2 is 4. So you will have a sequence of powers from 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. Then you try to decompose the 32 as the sum of these powers. So you will find 34 can be decomposed as 32 plus 2. And the 32 is 2 raised to power 5. So you will see in index 5, here is 1. And we also know 2 is 2 raised to power 1. So you will also see at index 1, here is 1. So 34 can be represented as this binary representation, 1 0 0 0 1 0. So when you write this number in binary number system, this number means 0 times 2 times 2 0 plus 1 times 2 raised to 1. So 1 times 2 is 2. And the three terms are 0, and this term is 1 times 2 raised to 5, and the 2 raised to 5 is 32. So this number is 32. So you sum all these numbers, you obtain its value. So its value is 34. And in this way, you can convert decimal to binary, or you can convert binary to decimal. So now suppose you have 8 bits. You had 8 bits means you have eight you have 8 grids, and each grid can be 0 or 1. So how many combinations can you represent a number? So if you have 1 byte means 8 bits, and each bit contains either 1 or 0. So we have a total of 256 possibilities, and because we begin from 0, so because we begin from 0, so its largest value is 256 minus 1. So the largest number is largest value is 255. So this is the size range. So this is the size range for unsigned int 8 bits. In a similar way, you can compute the size range for integer 8 bits. In this case, you need to include the negative number. So you need to divide this interval. The half of this interval is 256 divided by 2, which is 128. So if we begin from negative number, we begin from negative 128 and to 127. Because we need to include 0, so here the largest number is only 127. So in this way, you can, if you already know the memory size, you can compute its size range. I think the time is almost up, so class can dismiss.